Welcome to Henley Royal Regatta 2022. We are at day 3, the midway point. And for those crews still in the competition, the finals weekend is tantalisingly close. It is no longer about not wanting to go home on day 1. It's about seeing it through to the very end. So unsurprisingly, the emotions are running high. With that in mind, before we have a look at today's action, let me take you back to late last night when the crews in the Visitors Challenge Cup really had to keep those emotions in check and hold their nerve.
This is a contest in the Visitors Challenge Cup for Coxless Fours between the French Club d'Aveyron de Vichy and Cercle de l'Aveyron de Lyon. On the far side, Berkshire Station, and on this near side, well, you know by now, don't you know what Oxford Brooks look like, because there's so many Oxford Brooks crews in this regatta. They are on the island side of the station, both crews going close together. The umpire's warning the French, I think, get onto the boys. And Oxford Brooks are going over even closer, and he's telling Oxford Brooks to move over now.
And this,
what a race, Cam.
Here we go. So this is going to come down to who can row the course the best. Those Brooks boys have been down this track multiple times. Michael Glover in that 3-seat winning it 5 times. They know the markers. They can feel how they need to distribute their energy to the best of their abilities. And there's clashing on that stroke side of the Brooks boat and the bow side oars of the French crew.
It'd be interesting to see what the umpire's doing. That French lad you can see in the 3-seat with the red striped vest on, he is Yvan Beauvais, and his brother, his sister rather, is Claire Beauvais, who won the Olympic silver medal in the lightweight women's double sculls for France. The umpire is very, very busy. This is an absolutely cracking race, isn't it? We've got blade clashing, we've got bow ball to bow ball.
Overlap here. Look, if we look at that, there is absolute overlap, and this is going to come down to who has the most guts, who is going to stay on their line, who is going to put their oar, not being restricted by their opposition. And it looks as though Brooks have held their line to an absolute T.
There's about 200 metres to go. The French are still about half a length down. Nicolas Gilbert, Alexis Guillenot, Yvan Beauvais, Louis Droissard, fighting to get back on this experienced Oxford Brooks crew.
With 3/4 of a length, but I think that this is going to be significant when the boats both cross the line. We'll have to listen in and see if we can see. Oh, there's a crab!
Oh, there's a crab, and Brooks has got a crab. Oh my goodness, what are the French going to do? Who's going to get through the finish? And the French have got it. What's going to happen? Is there going to be an objection? Brooks had their hands up. The French laid back. What an exciting race. Did his blade, did Matt Rowe's blade catch the blade of the French crew? A red flag. Who's he going to disqualify? Is he putting his red flag up, Matthew Pinson?
So Oxford Brooks protesting.
Oh my goodness, drama. That is
think about the rules.
After much deliberation, it was decided that because both crews had been at fault, the race would be rerun. And 50 minutes later, it looked a case of deja vu as they once again tussled off the line.
Oxford Brooks, look at the steering, look at the steering.
They remained neck and neck through much of the course, but in the closing stages, it was an exhausted Oxford Brooks who rallied, taking the win by almost a length. We're back now to Thursday's action, and much like the weather, it kept us on our toes. Having started with nigh on perfect conditions out on the water, midway through the morning the rain came down, the umbrellas went up, but here at the boathouses the crews remained focused. With the heats really starting to hot up and the faster crews coming together, we were promised some close encounters, and we weren't disappointed.
An all-American lineup here.
This is a grudge race. Cal Berkeley versus University of Washington. They're each other's ultimate rivals.
This is the race of the morning for me. The Prince Albert Challenge Cup, University of Washington, Berkshire Station, University of California, Buck Station, East meets West.
To Fawley yesterday, both crews were within a second of each other, so this is going to be a tough old race.
Absolute humdinger as expected here. Guarantee that both boats will give it 100% and some more as well. I mean, this is going to be proper bragging rights, isn't it? So this is the race live and true to form. There's nothing in it at all.
Yeah, here the Washington crew at the IRAs, this is the four that raced the IRAs and came second in the IRAs, both at the Pac-12s and in the duel against California. So when they raced each other in California this year, Cal beat Washington. But here we can see as we're coming down the middle of the course, Washington leading, but Cal putting an effort in now to really try and back. It's the Bears versus the Dogs, and the Bears seem to be getting a grip of things here as they come through.
The Bears are making a move. It's not having much of an impact though, is it, on the University of Washington? Now they start to pull away. Yep, they're getting their act together now. This could be a decisive moment in this race.
It does look like they've just about gone from a level to length up in 15, 20 strokes. Whether they can keep that going. See, a Cox Fours is an event where you can really change boat speed quite a lot. So that's a really decisive move there from the Bears as they move out to about a length on Washington.
Here you've got the University of Washington boat. Luke Henry, Sebastian Ritter, Max Mason, Blake Vogel, and you can see the Cox there, Thomas Venk.
This is going to be so tight now. Washington seem to have the momentum coming down the enclosures. The other crew needs to decide what they're going to do to stop this rock. But this is a great race. Washington held the composure despite that. They're pushing, coming back. And here we go, half a length coming into the enclosure.
University of California. We thought they made a decisive push mid-race. University of Washington are having second thoughts about that. They were desperately trying to hold on, and what a finish this is going to be. University of Washington on the Berkshire station, furthest away in the white, and University of California are going to win by probably half a length. But that was so tight, and the celebrations belong to the University of California there.
So this is a race of the Prince Philip Trophy, for junior women's eights. Henley Rowing Club on the Berkshire station, that's the far side of your picture, and the young women from St Edward's School, the Oxfordshire school, closest to the island on the Buckinghamshire station.
The importance of just getting off clean. Just see the Henley crew, that they haven't moved at all as they went off the blocks there. A little bit of steering from the Teddy's boat or St Edward's boat there, just killing that speed, but looks like they've got back on track now, got their line.
So this is live shot, but what I'm surprised at is that St Edward's are so close, Mark.
Yeah, and it's a development kind of period of St Edward's. You know, it's the first time they've had the boat in the event. They've got 5 athletes, their first Henley, and they're gradually building that program that's run by, Adam Moffat's in charge of head of rowing at St Edward's, and then Tash Page, ex-GB International, is kind of running the female side of the program there, doing an incredible job. And the aspirations of these athletes over the next couple of years, Henley, we've got some 16-year-olds in there as well, so definitely athletes to watch in future. But Henley is the kind of dominant eight, as you mentioned. They've won the big events this year, and surely this is like a stepping stone for them as they move into the kind of latter part of the week. But they must obviously do the job today and try and kind of break that contact rather than towing St Edward's along here. And they are not bowing down or giving up on this, Teddy. They are fighting every single stroke to get back on terms.
You can see the bow woman there, Louisa Malloy, giving her everything, 100% on the end of her blade as she comes to the end of this regatta, and they are still charging. St Edward's are still charging. I don't think they've got enough strokes. It's about 20 strokes to the line. Henley would have to maybe lose their pace or maybe blow up or something like that, Mark.
Yeah, an error to creep in at some point, but they are a really well cohesive crew, this Henley crew, but Teddy's are still there, they're still pushing. What
a fantastic race. You can see how hard Henley are going. You can see how St Edward's School have battled through the finish line. Henley just coming up to the finish line now. It's going to be heartache for St Edward's, but boy, they've served up a great race to Henley Rowing Club. Henley Rowing Club in this heat of the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy from St Edward's School. It was a great race all the way down. Credit to the crews.
Now, these close races that we're seeing, particularly in the earlier stages of the competition, can take their toll on the rowers. They've really got to dig in deep, and with another 3 days to endure, a coach's role becomes increasingly important. Yaz, at this point of the regatta, what's your advice to the crews? How do you manage their workload?
Well, the first thing is, in any race here, no lead is ever safe, and you're never out of the race. So you got to approach each race one at a time, just absolutely knowing that. And I think that there might be favorites in a race, but you've got the river, it's alive, you've got flow, you've got crazy rain like we had today, and you just have to persevere. It's one stroke at a time, and you got to be in each and every single stroke, and if you approach it that way, you got a chance to get your bob all ahead.
How much does the cumulative effect of fatigue over the days, racing day after day, does that build up?
Yeah, well, I think the first one probably hurts the worst. And then at the same time, it's like you are racing that race like it's the last race, right? To make it on to the next round. But yeah, it's going to be a battle of fatigue and who can persevere, and then, who's going to have it at the end.
Because you guys have come a long way, I imagine you put a lot into this, a lot into getting to Henley, a lot of sacrifices. Just how much is riding on doing well here?
Oh, wow. I mean, honestly, this trip is just an incredible reward, for the season, really. I mean, we're just so overjoyed to be here. And I think the level of competition is incredibly high. We're just appreciating that every race you could be against a world champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and so the level is extremely high, and that, and just to have the opportunity to race in this kind of atmosphere, it's an experience of a lifetime.
And what is the feeling like, those emotions like when you do get the win? We just saw your women's 8 crew coming away with victory. Just describe that feeling.
I think you just, that you get another chance in this, gladiatorial, situation. It's you go into the line knowing this is it. You're going to go on or you're not, and we live another day.
And that is exactly what the crew in the next race were hoping to do.
Looking forward to this race. Marlow Rowing Club A crew on the Berkshire station on the far side of your picture in cardinal red. And the men from Oslo, Norway. No strangers to Henley Regatta. Also rowing with red blades. But they're in a yellow Empacher shell from Germany. And the men from Marlow are in a white Filippi shell. So easy to tell them apart.
Yeah, both crews off cleanly there, which is really important to get out, get into pace.
NSR Norway lost in the final of 2019 this event to Sydney Rowing Club. They've also been in the final of the Thames Challenge Cup in 2018, and two of this crew, Bjorkland and Sarabowski from the Norwegians, the two-man and the stroke man, were in that crew that lost to Sydney. So they're a really quality crew, these men from Oslo. So we go back live and you can see this is the quality of, God dear, look at that race. So that Marlow on the right of your picture, maybe just a little bit up.
Yeah, they've definitely got the advantage there, but there's not much in it there. It's just, being composed, standing your boat. And I always love this about Henley, because you don't really, when you've got foreign crews, you've got no kind of idea about where they're quick, where they're slow, where to move. So you have to be flexible when you're racing, especially at Henley with these crews that you know nothing about.
This is Marlow's top crew. They beat Quinton easily. They had a tight race against Tyne yesterday by 1 1/4 lengths. And it is nip and tuck between them. Marlow maybe just have an advantage. There's a lot of swell and wash coming by there. How does that affect the crews, Mark?
Yeah, it makes it really unstable, and it's who can deal with that best.
That's the bowman in the Marlow boat who is steering, and Leon Taylor's got to keep clear of the bows. There's the Marlow boat. Norway just have that lead, the experience of Oslo. They're coming through. You can hear the shouts of the stewards in closure as the crews go past them. Marlow at the top of your picture, Oslo nearest to the camera, and it is Oslo who have a slight lead at the moment. This is such a tight race, Mark.
Wow, this is the fist fight. This is what we love, the dual race in the Henley, right to the line.
So we come up to the finish line. Ahead of me, I can just see Oslo in front, but Marlow are coming back. Oslo in front, Marlow coming back. We come up to the finish, and it is Oslo just by a deck, by a canvas. Look at that margin, wow. That is just 1 metre. What about that margin, Mark?
It's so tight, and that's a year's training for that margin. And when you think about every day, every session, those are the battles that you want to win when it comes down to that last few strokes.
Throughout the day, the racing really felt like it was getting tighter and tighter, particularly in the Forley Challenge Cup for junior men. In the morning session, London's Kingston Rowing Club beat George Watson's College from Edinburgh by just a third of a length.
But they have been severely tested there. And in the end, they get home by half a length.
Before the rain arrived, Clare's Court School beat Henley Rowing Club by a length.
It's all or nothing now for the men from Henley Rowing Club. Can they get back on Clare's Court? It doesn't look like it. Clare's Court have managed to eke out, as they generally do in the second half of the course, a great win. They're going to come up to the finish line, barring accidents, and take this heat of the Forley Challenge Cup.
The Windsor Boys School B impressively saw away the Australians' Gippsland's Grammar School.
And the Windsor boys will be so proud of that really mature move, absolutely fearless from them in those scoring. Well, it was 15 strokes. All it took, wasn't it, Cam, to change that result around, and it just left Gibson wondering what has gone on, and they will finish with clear water deficit back in this Forley Challenge Cup.
Past performances don't guarantee success here. The pressure, particularly for some of the younger crews, can be intense. For the women, it was a key day in the Junior 8s event. The defending champions Headington School had drawn against the speedy USA crew Winter Park, who had impressed in qualification. This juicy clash, our final offering of the day.
So as we say goodbye to Kath Bishop, I'm delighted to be joined for some junior women's 8s in the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy by Olympic gold medalist, multiple Olympic silver medalist Catherine Granger now joins me in the commentary box. Hello, Catherine.
A pleasure to be back.
Well, and we're going to be treated to another one of these beautiful newish events. Last year, second year of it, running the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy between Headington School on the near side of your picture and the Winter Park Crew USA over on the Berkshire station in the background. And Headington, holders of this trophy currently in its inaugural year.
I know, first winners of it, they're going to want to hold on to it tightly, clearly. But it's wonderful. This is an event that's been campaigned on for so long. There's so many brilliant schoolgirls desperate to come here and compete. I know a lot of their coaches and leadership positions have all said we want to see our girls competing down this course, and here we are.
Well, the first name on the trophy was Headington School, who are on the left-hand side of your picture, but they are currently down on Winter Park Crew USA. This crew that's come all the way over from the United States of America are currently leading by, well, near on a length actually, Catherine, at this point in time.
Yeah, and they've settled into a really nice, relaxed rhythm. It's as if they're, because Henley can be quite a different, if you've not been to this regatta before, it's in some ways it's such a different event, can be quite overwhelming. But this crew from Winter Park just relaxed into it, owning the course at the moment, and certainly not intimidated by that Headington title holders.
No, absolutely not. And they've travelled here all the way from Florida. They were the Scholastic champions from the Youth Cup, Florida State champions. And so they come here knowing that they are the best in their state. But it's not only just being about the best in your state, Catherine. You've got to be the best against the rest of the world here at Henley Royal. Even in the junior events, the pedigree is so high. And Headington School here, they're focusing on this event, the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy, and at the moment they've got a mountain to climb. It's not over yet. It's about a length here as we come into the regatta enclosure, and Winter Park continue to go up and up through the ratings, and that is tiring stuff when you're going over 2,112 metres. A lot of these races have been 7 minutes or so here, Catherine, this week, week already. It's a long way to go, and this final third of the course, if you are tired and you can't mount that sprint, Headington look really relaxed here still at this point.
They do, and fair play to them. There's not a sense of panic. They're obviously not in the position they want to be at this point in the race, but they've got a race plan. And this is always, for me, really key what a Cox will be doing in this situation. In both crews, the Cox really becomes the leader of the boat in a very tight race. What are they going to be saying? How are they going to be keeping the relaxation, but also that intensity? Because the Cox will see the finish line now. We're getting very close to the end, but for the crew, they just know it's not comfortable yet.
Well, the Cox for Winter Park, that's Delaney Gardner, just 16 years of age. That is a huge position of responsibility to be in for someone of that age, but she is doing a remarkable job of keeping her crew just ahead of Headington School, and Headington are going to run out of water here, no matter what final sprint they've got to throw at Winter Park. I think they've left it too late.
It looks like that, and angles are always hard, but they're throwing everything at it, but it looks like a strong finish from Winter Park crew.
Yeah, Winter Park crew USA over from the United States of America. Florida are going to, well, beat out the UK sweethearts from Headington School.
That's a tough loss for them.
Win or lose, it's here on the pontoon when they come back in that you can really see how much a race takes out of them. For the losers, there's that sheer disappointment, exhaustion. For the winners, jubilation, and then the need to focus on their next race. For many, that's tomorrow. And that's when we're going to be back. Our live coverage gets underway at 9:30 in the morning. It is promising to be another bumper day out on the water. We'll see you then.